Alright, decided to make this video here and talk a little bit about drugs, or things that are called drugs, classified as drugs, that really shouldn't be. There's no good reason for it. Things like, let's start with the most basic, marijuana, okay? Why is marijuana illegal? There's no reason for marijuana to be illegal. Marijuana is not dangerous in any way. Anybody who's heard different, that's a myth, that's a lie. Things they teach you in school, that's a lie. Almost everything that you've ever heard about marijuana, mostly from mainstream, from government, from law enforcement, from education sources, it's almost all lies. Started very severe lies back in the 30s when they were trying to get it made illegal. Because before that, it was legal. And you know what? It didn't cause any problems. Marijuana never hurt anybody. The reason it was made illegal was for monetary reasons. Because hemp, the plant marijuana comes from, it's far too versatile. You can do so much with hemp. We could rebuild our economy with hemp. It's so easy. Anywhere could do it. That's why hemp is illegal in America. You can get imported, jacks up the price way on it, but it's so cheap, so easy to grow. Can be grown very easily and manufactured into so many different things, so many different options. So much can be done with hemp. And that's a problem. It was a problem for some politicians. It's still a problem if it was to be made legal. It caused a lot of problems. So they make it illegal. And then, so they can boost up money, funding for law enforcement things, they use it as the scapegoat so they can increase law enforcement, therefore making more money, getting more federal money out to certain organizations to build their power. And these organizations are becoming a police state, a structure around us. Anything you've ever heard about pot is probably wrong. And I watch videos about drugs on YouTube, and the comments, I love comments on YouTube because we get to see a lot of what's going on in people's heads that way. And one thing that I see, and I get this a lot, everyday life, go around whenever a conversation comes up with people, you're always going to have some people that want to tell you about the dangers of marijuana. The problem is, most of the time, these people, they've never used it. And the fact of the matter is, if you've never smoked pot, you don't have the right to get in that conversation. You don't have the right to condemn or promote it if you've never smoked it. I don't care what your stand on it is. If you've never experienced it, you have no say-so in that argument. It's just not your place because you can't comment on something you don't know anything about. And that's a lot of problems. So many people are the ones out there trying to educate people, or people who know nothing about it. They're getting some papers handed to them by a government organization. It says this is what you're supposed to say about it. So that's what they say about it. And a lot of people just straight up lie. They know it's not true. Most of the advocates against smoking marijuana smoke it themselves in their private lives. More people smoke marijuana than people realize. And there's many reasons why it's illegal, and they're all wrong. And everything you've heard about it are probably lies. Like a lot of other things, like LSD, acid. Not what they say it is. Has never killed anybody like they say it has. Again, there's a reason for it. And this goes for marijuana, goes for acid, goes for salvia, goes for shrooms, goes for pretty much any mind-altering substance. Once you've used mind-altering substances such as these, you start to realize things. Your brain starts to work differently. You start to have more thoughts. You do become more creative. It starts to unlock things. It also makes you much harder to oppress. This is how it happened with the hippies when they started doing acid. And then all of a sudden this philosophy of peace and love came about. It was totally different from anything we've ever known. We're a country built on war in America. This is what we do. That's our preoccupation, is war. That's all we've done since our birth. We were a country born out of war, and that's all we've done since then. But if you were doing what are drugs, you would know different. You would start to see just how silly all of that is. And that is something that they need to keep people from doing, from being open-minded. This is a big problem. Most of the lies that they tell you, things that are harmful, are not harmful. And people who are on YouTube, like people who say, oh, these hallucinogens, those are demons in it. That comes from the religious sect a lot, that they're demons in the plant, okay? Well, here's the problem with that, and that's a flaw in your religion. Plants can't have demons in them, neither can animals. Only humans. We're the only ones that can have sin, which this is something, I mean, it's a little off topic, but one of the many contradictions that having sex for pleasure is a sin. It's a sin, and you're going to go to hell for it. Sexual pleasure is a sin. You should only have sex to procreate. That's the way it used to be. That's the way they said. Problem with that is that we're told that humans, we're the only creatures on the earth who have sin. Animals don't have sin. But there are animals who have sex for pleasure, and that would be sinning. A little strange. Doesn't quite make sense. But, okay. So back to the topic at hand. Where was I? Oh, see, I don't even remember now. I kind of lost my place when I got off topic there. But I guess just what to say is that there are many things. People should do research on these drugs. Oh, yeah, the Christians or religious sects who say this about drugs or whatnot, and they have no experience with it themselves. Most people who make comments about how bad it is, it's because they've never had any experience with it themselves. So, I mean, that's really just the blind leading the blind right there. So, but yeah, people, do your research. Look into some of these things. There's a lot more going on there. Understand that most religions in the world were based off of using these drugs. Almost everything in this world started with using these drugs, natural drugs. They weren't drugs, they were just part of nature, and we used them. That's what it was. The most oldest and indigenous people on the planet used these things. That's what got us where we are. So, just something to think about, man, before you go buying into all the hype and the supposed danger and the war on drugs. And don't believe that shit about drug cartels in South America. That's fucking... No, that's a lie. That's not what's going on there. They want us to believe that so that we have a reason to invade South America. Don't buy the hype, people.